hello everybody. A very good evening and welcome back to the NooBiker channel. Thanks to everybody who is on the chat, all in on the R6 with a nice countdown. Thank you very much for that. So we have a very special guest today, Gregor from RRR, Refuel Ride Race. And I will let you know right now, I'm actually quite tired today. I've just spent all day at the beginning of season ride with Mr. Fish. I met with Hippodrones, Lone Wally UK, Slow Rider, Lord Bilius, Phil 480, Big Pezza, quite a few. I'm sure I've forgotten some, for which I apologize. But welcome to the live stream. And so today, as I said, our guest, he has a channel. He does a lot of bike reviews. He does a lot of travel videos. He does, through Eastern Europe. So I think it would be quite interesting to find out more about the sort of biking culture in Eastern Europe, in Slovenia, and some of the trips that he's done. So without further ado, let's bring in Gregor, and let's also bring in my buddy Exeter Rider, who is also joining the live stream. Hello, guys.
Hi, Noob. Hello, Gregor. Nice to meet you.
Hello,
Steve.
Kirill. Yeah,
Steve, it took you quite a while to put your makeup on today.
Oh, mate, it was on the edge, wasn't it? Literally 6 o'clock I got in here. I'm quite tired as well. I've been laying on the sofa for the last half an hour. I've been on accounts and doing boring stuff today, so nothing exciting like you. Anyway, Noob.
Well, I'm trying to avoid doing my accounts by going out on a bike ride. So it was actually very good. It's Gregor, welcome to the live stream. I don't know what the weather's been like in Slovenia, but I'll tell you, here in the UK, we've had a very long winter, and I think maybe this is the first weekend where both days were kind of dry since before winter, and so everybody's out on their bikes today. There was a lot of people today.
Yes, in Slovenia it was not a very long winter, but a lot of very bad, rainy days, and people are just waiting, and now it's already, let's say, very warm, and we had 25 degrees Celsius today, so this is very appropriate for riding, and roads were crowded because I was just on my bike previously, 4 hours ago. It was very sunny and warm, and it was a nice experience, but roads were crowded with motorcycles and also cars, because tourism is also a huge factor in my opinion. So it is going that way, crowds, better weather, and people are enjoying the time and the weather and everything. So probably also in the UK it's the same.
Well, in the UK, we have two different climates. We have the climate in most of the UK, which has been absolutely awful, apart from this weekend. And then there's the southwest of the country, where I hear it's always sunny, especially in Western-super-Mare, but I believe in Exeter as well. How's it been?
Yeah, 98% of the time. Yeah.
Always sunny?
Always, yeah. 98% sun during the year. Yeah. If you believe that, you believe anything.
I've got a bridge I could like to sell you. What's that bike that you have behind you there, Steve?
Yeah, that's the one I rode on Thursday. It's the new Honda NX 500. So it's basically a CB 500 with an updated dashboard and an updated screen. Screen's a lot higher now. So that was one of the main problems, in my opinion, with the CB 500, is that the screen was very low, whereas now they've lifted it up and given it a bit more of a Dakar style bike feel to it. Much better. So all the things that I was reading about the CB 500X, it's actually, yes, they've solved a lot of those problems.
Okay, so I'm sure we're going to be seeing a review sometime soon.
You will do, yeah. I'll put a video out tonight of just a quick random video of me riding through Brixham, and yeah, I'm hoping to get the video out next week, but we'll just see how this week goes with editing.
Awesome.
All takes time.
Anyway, so Gregor, welcome very much to the live stream. Why don't we begin? Tell us a little bit about yourself, about your sort of your biking history. When did you start motorcycling?
I am very happy that I can be part of this live stream. Thanks a lot for inviting me. This is the first thing. I started my biking career, let's say, when I passed my test, and it was in 1999. So that time I had the possibility to do just A1. It was 125, and I had my first, let's say, 125 bike. In fact, it was a scooter, so Vespa Piaggio 125 PK 125 XL. So that one had the electric starter, but previously, even before, I had exactly this moped that we can all see on the photo. So in red, it was the Tomos Automatic from
that's you in the photo.
Yeah, this is me exactly. This
Great.
is me. This is around 95. I mean 1995, 1996.
Does that have the pedals as well? Is it like you pedal as well as the motor? Just the motor.
Okay. Just a kickstart, and it is without the pedals. So in fact, it is a 50cc automatic. So you have only the throttle, and you're ready to go. So very easy thing to use.
You used to be able to pick up those Tomos mopeds for £600 back in the early 90s in the Littlewoods catalogue. I remember them.
Yeah.
He probably doesn't know what a Littlewoods catalogue is, Steve.
No, true. Good point. Yeah.
And these were very well spread all around the world, let's say, because the Netherlands have already, established a lot of clubs, that time. And, also in Japan, there are clubs, and all around. I think also in Canada, they are automatic lovers, I would say. So a cool thing, synonym of freedom, let's say, for youngers.
Yeah. And does that still happen in Slovenia, of young people going on mopeds and getting that, and that being kind of their first step to freedom?
Yeah, just one thing. I would like to say hello to Picky Biker. So Picky, I promised you. By the way, it is not.
Hi, Brian.
It is not like you said, because people are using electric stuff, so not a lot about mopeds these days, but we have a great community around and in Koper. So this is, let's say, the town that it's connected with my youth and life, and the Tomos factory was established there, and there are a lot of, let's say, clubs that are Tomos lovers, and they have also younger people, younger riders that have Tomos bikes. So APN4, APN6, Tomos Automatic, Tomos ATX, NTX, Tomos BT50, and so on. So they really do care about the heritage of Tomos, and they are really hardcore Tomos lovers,
That's great. I mean, the reason I was asking is because I think it's just a bit of an aside. I think in this country, I'm not sure if you agree with me, Exeter, I think a lot of younger people are not getting into biking. I know. Interestingly, my daughter is interested, but my sons are not. They are all about getting on public transport. They're not interested in driving. They're not interested in riding.
Yeah, well, my lad's 17 now, and he's learning to drive. He got a job at McDonald's purely to buy a CBR 125, but then things progressed, and we said, well, we'd rather that you learn to drive a car first. And he's got probably 4 or 5 friends that have little 50cc scooters, and to me it seems like it is actually coming back again, you know, because it is so expensive maybe. So it's hard to tell, isn't it? But because I have got a younger kid, and all my kids are, or 2 of my kids are into bikes or want bikes, maybe it's coming back, maybe.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I cannot in general say that this culture of mopeds is very alive among all youngsters, but there are clubs, you know, that are oriented to Tomos, and this is a very good thing in my opinion. But
Yes.
usually, you know, I think that youngsters are more into other things, you know, computers and so on. So not really into bikes, you know.
They stay in a lot more now, don't they? I think compared to
Yeah.
what we were. Yeah. Gregor, can I ask a question? What happened to Tomos and the factory? Do you know? Because they just seem to disappear. Are they still around under a different name, or?
Right now, the story it's over. You know, the story it's over. The problem was mainly in the fact that these little engines cannot comply to the very strict emission rules, you know, and this is something that, let's say, was a bit, let's say, very strange because some had hope that in those third countries, you know, it would be still possible to sell these mopeds, you know. But nowadays in Europe, almost every country has more and more restricted rules, you know, about emissions, and it's not gonna go, I think. So now it is already history. So, but still some very, let's say, quite young models are on the road. I mean, around here. So 2016, 2015. So the latest that were produced that time, and like Thomas Flexer, you know, a very, let's say, modern moped in a way. So they are gonna still be around, in my opinion, for quite a long time. But this is just how it is. So strict emissions, but also there were other problems, you know, not only emissions, but also, let's say, to have a great product that would be a class leader, you know, just like those little electric, let's say, bicycles made, let's say, the breakthrough, you know. So they didn't really find the way how to, let's say, make a breakthrough in this, let's say, segment, you know.
Yeah, and I personally think that these Euro rules are wrecking the industry in many different ways, because for those who don't know, there's Euro 5.5 now. I don't really know what's going on with it. I don't think there's a major change, but it's still getting tighter again. And I've ridden bikes which were Euro 4 compliant, and then they got made into Euro 5s, and it gave them problems with the engines, you know, with it cutting out, and they strangled the throttle bodies. The only ones that didn't have that were the bikes like the Africa Twin, which went to 1100, the Suzuki V-Strom 1000 went to a 1050. That was the only way they got those engines to work properly. But a lot of the other bikes,
I think the 5.5 is all about making sure that the performance of the catalytic converter stays consistent through the bike's life, or something like that. That's what I understand.
Even though it's coughing out next to nothing anyway, if it's a 125. And but you think how many bikes it killed? It killed the MT10, the Suzuki van that disappeared because of Euro 5. There were loads of bikes which just went overnight, all because of these stupid regulations.
They'll still be around in Mad Max times, you know. So when everything goes to apocalypse, we'll still have the bikes. They're just not making new ones. But I'm actually more and more interested in older bikes, and maybe having an older bike, something from a previous age.
A lot to be said for it.
Anyway, so Gregor, so this is you riding a moped. This is your first scooter, I'm guessing.
The first one was Vespa 125. Then I had another Vespa. That was in fact the LML model from India, let's say, and it had 200cc engine inside. But this one was the third one, and this is the Yamaha Majesty 180cc. So let's say already a maxi scooter, but in a way still very agile and good on fuel and things like this. So yeah, one of my scooters. Yeah, really
awesome. Cool. And then you sent me a lot of pictures, Gregor. I said, can you send me about 5 or 6 pictures? You must have sent me about 50.
Yeah.
Plenty of choice.
You sent me a picture of a guitar. You sent me a picture of some kind of a car with a.
Yeah, I used to play a guitar also. There is a Strat copy from Washburn, so I'm not playing anymore because I wasn't really a good player. But anyway, this is part of me. This is part of my history, part of my life. And in the right corner, we can see the steering wheel of a Trabi from Krakow. And I was a passenger, so sitting next to the driver and enjoying the drive. So just one, let's say, moment in my life caught on the camera, I would say.
Okay, that's great. That's a Trabi, so that Trabant, like
exactly.
That two-stroke car from from Poland and East Germany, right?
East Germany, yeah, East Germany, exactly.
Okay.
Sorry, did you say two-stroke car?
Yeah, the Trabant was a two-stroke engine in a car.
Yeah,
and never heard of that.
And the, let's say, construction of a car was, let's say, very interesting because it had a lot of plastics, and it was very light. And I also filmed, because I am also a lot into cars, I also filmed a short video in the Trabant Museum in Prague. There is a very nice museum for all those of you who are interested also in Trabi's history, let's say, can go enter there and see, everything from the very beginning, how they started producing these cars till, let's say, the later model and so on. So they produced, I don't know if you know, also cars, I mean Trabis for the military and so on. So quite a nice history, yeah.
Okay, and then I have some. Of course, I have some more photos from your history. We have you with this beautiful BMW R1200 RS.
Yeah, this was my first filming test ride video. I mean, I tried to film it, but I failed. That's why I later did the voiceover, and I just combined, some footage that I had from that day later. And this is, let's say, a photo of me and that bike. I just had to start somehow, and it was with this beautiful RS that we can see right now on the photo.
Okay. And then you sent me a photo of this. Tell us about this Kajiva.
Yeah, Kajiva Canyon 500. This is a single cylinder, oil air cooled. It is this brand is not, let's say, available anymore. It's not. It's gone, let's say. And I got this one as my first serious bike, I would say. 500cc, single cylinder. But I had quite a lot of troubles with the electricity, and aviation problems also. I had a problem.
Aviation problems?
Yeah, when you would like to start the bike, it's not starting. You cannot do anything. And then 2 minutes later, it starts like there was no problem, So
gremlins. It's an Italian bike. You have to make it coffee first.
Yeah. And I learned that I can resolve it. At least it happened in, let's say, 90% of the times, that I just had to lean the bike on the right and then press the start button, and it went on, you know. So not really a reliable machine, I would say.
Well, it's Italian, but Cagiva was very famous. They were quite. They had the Cagiva elephant was big on the Paris Dakar rally,
and also Cagiva Mito. Cagiva Mito 125 had the 7-speed gearbox.
7? Never heard of that before.
A 125 with a 7-speed. Okay.
Yeah, and they had also the colors of Lucky Strike, you know. So very, very good looking machine for youngsters that time, and it was also very fast, because I know that the unrestricted models had more than 30 horsepower, and it was 125.
Oh, okay. Okay. How much horsepower? How much horsepower did the 500cc Cagiva have?
34. There were two versions, two models, 34 and 38. I think that this one that was mine, was 34. So it reached 150 kilometers per hour, but this was very painful because of the vibrations, you know, on the handlebar. This is a single, and you know,
I was gonna say that sounds extremely like the Himalayan 411 that I have. You know, it's got around a little bit more power, so 34 instead of 24. And again, yeah, if you get to 70 miles an hour on the motorway, it really shakes. It doesn't like it.
It is okay till 100 kilometers per hour, and you can even overtake to 120, 130, but it's really uncomfortable, you know. Then when you stop, you're buzzing.
Can I just say hi Dewey, thank you for joining. I think Dewey is in Brazil. He sent me a message saying he's in Brazil right now, so I hope they're treating you well over there, Dewey, and if they're not, you let me know, because I'll sort it out. I just watched this video of doing the Carretera Austral this morning, and it was absolutely awesome. Anyway, you guys go and watch that later. Sorry for the aside. Back to your history. Then you sent me this. One of your first big bikes.
Just after the Cagiva, that was really a troublemaker, I got the new SV650. This was my first new bike, and it was a perfect machine. But after 28,000 kilometers, I decided that I would like to change the style. You know, I would like to go more into the sport touring segment, and I sold it and got the Yamaha Tracer 9 that I have right now. So this was my previous bike.
Okay, talk about this one. I'm going to try to find a picture of the Tracer.
Yeah, this one was on a very well organized event from BMW Motorrad Slovenia. I think it was before I even started my YouTube channel. So it was in 2019, I believe, and this is the R9T, a naked, heritage naked, I would say, a very nice one with the, let's say, already classic BMW Boxer oil and air-cooled engine. And this is one photo, it's where I'm riding it, and one where I'm just sitting on it. So
yeah, they launched the R1290 now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they have the 1200 air cooled.
Yeah. And I have to say that I already tried it. And
okay.
I already filmed the first impression video, and I believe that I'm gonna make it, let's say, reachable in the first days of May. So
okay,
have to do some little modifications, you know, but it's already done in a way.
Look forward to that.
Yeah. So here it's my Tracer 9, and these 4 photos are part of my photo collection from my latest trip to Romania. So from the highway on the left, and then we see in Serbia, this is Bela Crkva. In English, it would be White Church. This is the name of the place, let's say town, a little one. And the lower right one, it's from Transfagarasan. So
Transfagarasan, yeah, I've watched those videos. A fantastic road. How are you getting on with the Tracer?
In fact, very well. It is, let's say, a very powerful and capable machine, at least for me. I am not searching, a super sport performance bikes, but bikes that have also quite a lot of comfort. Sitting upright, it's the key factor for me. Because when you are planning to go on longer rides, it is very, very important that you have enough comfort that you can do it. Otherwise you are tired, you have muscle pain and everything. It's can be bothering you. And the Tracer, it's doing very well. I changed the seat. I also filmed that, and now it's a bit better. I wouldn't say that it's much better, but it's a bit better. And I am, let's say, doing 1 hour and a half of a ride, and then I just stop. But 2 hours, it's also doable. So this is what I expect. So for me, it's a great bike, and till now, I don't think that I'm gonna sell it soon. So
yeah, I want to test ride that one at some point, because I think it might be a little bit more comfortable than my Z1000 SX, a little bit more upright, a little bit more sit up and beg.
Yeah.
The very good thing about the Tracer is that you have also the adjustments of the foot pegs. You can put them a bit lower down or up, and also the seat is adjustable. So this is a great thing, because not all of nowadays bikes have these possibilities, but the Tracer has.
That's really interesting, because usually if you want to get adjustable foot pegs, you have to get special rear sets and things, right?
This one has stock adjustable foot pegs. Yeah,
that's excellent. That's actually really good, really good. Picky Bike is saying a great series that was, Maka, and I think I'm pronouncing that right, because you're asking me yesterday, what does that mean?
Yeah.
From where
it's a very strange word, Maka,
Yeah, it's only in the Midlands that they say it.
Speak. It's a special language. It's a special language from people from the Midlands. Especially the ones that live in mines.
You explained me exactly that way, like you did right now.
So I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I know you're saying it means friends. If you look in the dictionary, I think it's mucker, which is somebody who basically shovels shit. But you're shoveling shit together because you're friends. So that makes you friends.
And the plural is makas.
But you probably just say mucker anyway. But yeah, it's like I said, it's an endearing term.
Okay.
We could only talk about this on a NooBiker show, couldn't we? What mucker actually means.
Well, to be fair, right? So what's happening here is Gregor's not British, and I'm not British, but I've lived here for more than 30 years, so I kind of picked up on a few of these things, and some of the sense of humor, and some of the expressions, and some of the forms of being effective and being nice. It's hello, mucker.
Well, I'm British, and I don't know what it means, so we're all pretty stuffed, aren't we? So at least we know now, anyway. That triple engine's fantastic, though, isn't it, Gregor? In those end, it's super quick, isn't it? If you want to open it up and go, it really moves, doesn't it? Exactly. You have to hold it back, really. If anything, it's one of those bikes. I rode the SP model. Oh God, must be 3 years ago now, 4 years ago, and it just you have to hold it back a bit, don't you?
Exactly. I rode also the let's say GT model from 2021, and just after that ride, I decided to go for the Tracer 9. But as I am not a lot into electronics and I really don't need the quick shifter, and you know, okay, heated grips are nice to have, but you know, the quick shifter and those panniers and the electronic suspension, these things I really don't need, and that's why I went for the base model. That is the main reason, because you know, today there is a very, let's say, strange situation where factories are, let's say, putting everything on and more, even if one may don't like all these things. So you don't have a lot of possibilities, or you go for it or you just don't buy anything. So
yes, exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
They're trying to innovate and they've run out of things to innovate, and now they're just thinking up any old thing to make it sound like it's something new when actually it's not really needed, some of it. Yeah, know what you mean.
So my neighbor Pinnacle Moto, he actually lives not far away from here. We really should go out riding more often, Pin. We've talked about it. Let's make it happen. But he wants to know, where in the Balkans are you?
I am near Koper, so this is very close to Italy, and Trieste. You know, the port of Trieste. It's also very close. So Slovenia is part of the Central Europe, and Ljubljana is the capital. And I'm on the western side of the country. So Koper, it's my city.
Okay, and I wanted to ask you, because I think we have quite a lot of your subscribers and your friends here. Some from Croatia, and obviously we all kind of know the sort of recent history of the Balkans and Slovenia and the former Yugoslavia. And one of the things that I was curious about is how does it translate to nowadays? So nowadays, do you have is that like a rivalry between bikers from Slovenia, Croatia, Bosnia, or are you just all is a one big sort of former Yugoslavia biking community? How does that work?
Yeah, this is a very good topic and a very good question, in my opinion. And you know, in the field of economy, there is a competition. In the field also of politics, there is a competition. But I see that in the field of motorcycles and motorcycles clubs and the riders and so on, we are working and we are living as brothers, you know, because from my country, a lot of riders are visiting Croatia and Bosnia and Serbia and so on, and are going to their parties, to their meetings, you know, Moto Fest, you know, events organized by them there, and they're returning their visits to our clubs, I don't know, around Ljubljana or Maribor, because Slovenia has a lot of motorcycle clubs, just like Croatia and just like Bosnia. But there is a very important fact, because Slovenia, it's more or less about 2 million of people, you know, but other countries are bigger in terms of the population. And still, a phenomena it is that we have a lot of clubs, and that we are, let's say, together in riding and in helping each other and in visiting clubs from other countries, and they are returning and so on. So this community works very well, in my opinion. So no rivalry, no competition in this regard. I mean,
no animosity. So it's actually you know, bringing people together and
yeah,
helping people form friendships across the
exactly.
different countries. That's
It's
awesome.
like on a rock concert, you know. People are coming from everywhere and are joining there and having fun and listening to the music and talking and so on. So a very important social, let's say, factor.
That's good.
That's awesome. That's great to hear.
Yeah.
So Piki is saying when he was in the armed forces, he was in the Balkans in 1999. If I understand correctly, I think in one of your recent videos when you were in Bosnia, you talked about, and you went to the sorry, the word escapes me right now, where your father was stationed when he was in the
Yeah.
Yugoslav army.
That was in Serbia. He was in Serbia. He was in Bela Crkva. And there was a very interesting rule, but it wasn't really a rule, but let's say a habit, I would say, from the headquarters of the army that time, so Yugoslav army. They had in mind that everyone that is coming from Slovenia should go and serve in different Yugoslav countries. So either Croatia, either Bosnia, or either Serbia. So there was only a tiny bit of a possibility to serve in your own country that time. And my father was from Slovenia, so Slovenian, and he was sent to Serbia. So if he would be from Serbia, he would be probably sent to Slovenia or even Croatia,
And that was a way that they had to kind of get people to know the different parts of the country and maybe try to build.
Yeah, I think that this was a kind of a strategy of a brotherhood, because if you feel something for your brother that it's from the different culture, from another country, but still in the same Yugoslav, let's say, borderline, that would contribute to better, let's say, understanding and brotherhood in the future. So I think that they have that in mind.
How'd that work out?
Very well, because just before the war, there were a lot of tensions, and people were really frustrated by the thing that somehow the war did a great line between lives and friends. We were suddenly cut. The war cut everything. And if you had a friend in Serbia, it was a real problem, because we were in Slovenia, and the Yugoslav army attacked Slovenia, and the attack was from Serbia to Slovenia, and from all the let's say Yugoslav army points, there were going to Ljubljana to attack Slovenia, also from Croatia, also from Bosnia. But then from Slovenia, they retreated, and the problem was in Croatia and then in Bosnia. And all those ties that were between people, were cut at that moment, because a lot of nationalism started to appear, and everything was, let's say, very strange and very full of hate, but there were no reason for that, because in the time, in the 70s and in the 80s, we were all together, we were all brothers. We had the same bikes, Tomos bikes, even some from Czech Republic, Java, Java bikes, Java 350, MZ. These were all very present in every country in Yugoslavia. So there was nothing really that was, let's say, dividing these people, but the war just drew the line, and we were Slovenes, they were Serbs, and
it's very sad.
Yes,
it is, and that's what happens if we let people divide us, and that's something that I think about a lot.
For no reason. And now I see things are getting better and better, and today it is a lot different, because I have also a lot of friends from Bosnia, from Serbia, from Croatia, because in Slovenia, Koper, it's a very, let's say, important city in Slovenia. I mean, more of a town than a city, because of the port, the international port, and it's important for the cargo, as also for the raw terminal, so for cars going to the Middle East. And in Koper, when Thomas was alive, a lot of workers from other republic of ex-Yugoslavia came to Koper. So my next, let's say, friend, my neighbor was from Croatia. The other one was from Serbia. Another one was from, let's say, Bosnia. And everybody was with everybody. Everybody was a friend, let's say, with another, let's say, neighbor. So no problems. There were no problems that time.
Yeah, and it's great. It's great. It's heartwarming because we were talking about earlier how in the biking community you all come together again. Because I think, you know,
Yes,
if we think about it, we have actually more in common with each other than we have that divide us. If we focus on what divides us and what makes us different, we end up in conflict. Whereas if we focus on what actually we have in common and what brings us together, we become more friendly and less likely to kind of fight and get into all that. So it's great to hear
Politicians
about
and greed.
well, isn't it the poets, priests, and politicians have words to thank for their positions? It's a song by the Police. I always remember that lyric. Anyway, let's not get into that. Let's get back to biking and YouTube. So tell us.
Well
tell
done,
us
Nick.
about...
Because I know what you're like with those sort of subjects. I thought you could go down a rabbit hole then.
We have a saying. We have a saying in Brazil. I'll give a cow not to get into a fight, and I'll give an entire herd not to get out of one. So let's not get into one. Let's talk about YouTube.
I'll work that one out later. My brain's not awake enough for that.
So tell us, Gregor. Tell us about your channel, kind of what you started and why you started it, what your aims are for the Refuel Ride Race. Tell us what's behind the name.
Yeah, the name it's completely, let's say, invented. So refuel, you have to refuel, then you have to ride, and if you have a chance, then you can race. So I think that the name it's nothing special, but I had in mind the triple R to be a kind of a abbreviation, you know, and that would go into heads of, let's say, the audience easier. So that's why I made it like it is right now. So RRR, Refuel Ride Race. So nothing really special, but I think that it's easy to remember. So this is about the name. If I may mention these four photos that we can see, these are mainly test rides. The lower left down photo, it's about the seat. So I am doing quite a lot of test rides because I like bikes in general. You know, I like riding. There is no particular brand that I would be in love with or something similar. I just love any kind of a bike. So I am really not, let's say, frustrated to ride just BMWs, to ride just Hondas or whatever. So for me, if it has wheels and if it has an engine, it's a great thing.
Yeah.
That's quite a lot in common with you as well, right? Extra Ride, you do quite a lot of reviews on your channel.
Yeah. I really enjoy finding out the common traits between each brand. Really, you know, if you ride a BMW, they've got their own feel. If you ride a Honda, it's got its own feel, and Yamaha as well. They're all different, and they've all got their own sort of branded traits, so to speak, of each ride. So yeah, I enjoy it. It's good fun. Bit of variation, isn't it, Gregor, when you ride different bikes, as you have as well, Noob. You know, there's a lot of difference between a BMW and a Africa Twin, let's say, obviously.
Exactly. I completely agree. This BMW here, this particular one, it's a proper touring bike, and this Honda, it's a very different bike. It is an adventure bike. So it is really nice when you have a lot of possibilities because, you know, some just like scooters, some would like to have an adventure bike, and we are all on the wheels, but we have different bikes, we have different tastes, you know, and this is something that it's good, you know, in my opinion.
What did you think of the RT, Gregor? Did you like that?
A very police machine, I would say, because in Slovenia these bikes are owned also by the police. Very comfortable
In
and
the UK as well.
yeah, and I have to say that the wind protection, it's like on being behind the wall. So we are complaining that some sport touring bikes and some other also naked bikes that have that little screen, are not doing great. But this one, if you would like to have a great wind protection, just go for the RT.
It's incredible. It is incredible. Yeah. I rode it back in 2019 at 1250 as well. And I have to say, it's still, to this day, is still my favorite bike of all time.
So that is why all the police officers are trying to open and just sometimes close the helmet, because there is no wind, so it's very hot.
Yeah, and also why they ride so well is because the bike rides so well. People say, "Oh, they're great riders," and I'm sure they are. But it helps having a decent bike that handles the way that RT does.
Yes, it's a funny thing. Funny thing when I was at the when I was watching, I went to see the film of the 44 Teeth budget bike battle Bavaria, where they took different bikes, and I think one of them had an RT, an ex-police RT, or was it? It was either an RT or Pan-European, and they basically said, the two most hated bikes in the world are the Pan-European and the RT. The reason being that the Pan-European used to be the police bike, and then they had an issue with the ST 1300 Pan-European, because with all the police equipment, it developed a rear wheel wobble at high speeds, and a couple of policemen died because of high speed wobbles. Honda fixed the issue, but by that time they had lost confidence in the Honda, and they had all switched to the BMW. So they, the Pan-European used to be the police bike, and now the RT is the police bike, even right now to this day.
And also the FJR from Yamaha, it's also around.
Yeah, basically big tourers with big tourers with a shaft drive, so they can keep going forever.
Yeah.
Piki is asking if the roads in the Balkans are still 40% non-tarmac.
Not at all, because in let's say mostly, I would say 95% of all the roads are tarmac. So if you are going to some really remote locations, there you can encounter gravel, but other than that, I think that they really rebuilt all countries. I mean, Slovenia wasn't really bad after the war. Everything was, let's say, almost untouched. We had some, let's say, reconstructions at that time, but not about the roads. So in Bosnia, the story it's quite a lot different, and Croatia also. But the roads are right now, because of the European money, getting better and better. And for Croatia, I can say it for sure that they have very good roads. And also in Bosnia, I didn't encounter any bad roads. There are some bumps from time to time, but this is normal, because this is something that it's going to happen also in the USA. So
European money is fixing the roads.
The European money,
I personally think that's reason enough for us to rejoin the EU. No more arguments, because the roads in this country are absolutely horrendous right now. Absolutely.
There are funds. Yeah, there are funds of money and projects that are helping, the infrastructure to be better and better, So they have to invest their own money. But with some projects, they can also gain the money from the European Union, So this is also true in Slovenia and around my city, and you just see, the information, board, and there it's written from the European funds, the project name, when it was, and so on. So it depends, but also the European money, it's contributing to the better roads.
Pinnacle, my latest video I'll be posting today, off-road riding to up on a Z1000 SX. We show you some of the roads in the UK. Yeah, I don't doubt you, Pin. I really don't. Why do all the Balkan countries give their neighbors maximum points in the Eurovision Song Contest? Do you watch the Eurovision, Gregor?
Yeah, I am watching these things, but only when it comes to the very end. I am not following the semi-final, and when it comes to the very end, and when it's very important to know who the winner is, I'm watching, and gaining points and giving points. So this is probably a kind of a heritage here, that if you're gonna help me, I'm gonna help you. So if I will give you a point, you are gonna return it to me. So probably the reason is in this exact thing that I just explained. So friendship and returning the favor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean that makes perfect sense, right?
This is universal. There is no nation that would, let's say, that wouldn't help another one if they know that they're gonna receive the help back.
It's a shame they don't open it up a bit more and let somebody like Australia come into it, maybe, and not just be Eurovision anymore. They are in it, by the way. Yeah. That's crazy, isn't it? Eurovision and Australia.
Eurovision. Yeah. Wasn't Israel in it as well?
Yeah, very strange, but it is just like it is. Yes.
Maybe we should just call it World Vision or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't watch it. I didn't even know there was a semi-final. There's a semi-final. I don't even watch the final.
So it's all a bit crazy, isn't it? It's a bit.
Yeah, there are two parts, and those songs that go through the first part are then in the final part. But I am not a lot into that, so I just know how it goes. But this is really not something that I am interested in. So
Eurovision and Formula One, I have zero interest. Let's get back to biking. So, Gregor, I've been watching. I haven't watched all of them, but I've been watching a lot of your videos on your tours. We had one of Romania and Bosnia, I think. So this is your trip to Bosnia.
Exactly. This is my trip to Bosnia, and here we can see the Bikers Fest. So this is a huge meet of bikers, and it's organized in Banja Luka, and it's going to be also this year, every year at the end of let's say May. They are organizing it, and there you can see, let's say, thousands of bikers coming from let's say Central Europe mostly, but also from Italy. Italy, it's already Western Europe, and it can be also Southern Europe, depends, but also from Germany and Austria and so on. So some also from Sweden, because these riders are working in Sweden and have Sweden plates, but were originally from Bosnia, and they just migrated to north, So you can see a lot of different register plates there, and it's a huge meeting, and they are really making it as a show, stunts riders, and very good music, rock music, rockabilly, any kind. So and it's 3 days. So a lot of rock and roll for 3 days, I would say.
Sounds
So
like my kind of show.
This is every year at the end of May.
Yeah, exactly.
Extra rider. We should plan a trip next year.
Yeah, if you would like to have a link, I can send you the link. So they also film a promo video, and it's a very good quality promo video, in my opinion. And really, I think that this is one of the 3 biggest meeting of bikers on the Balkans.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you know, also, if you're going there, you just be aware that you have to book your hotel a bit in advance, because Banja Luka is the 2nd largest city in Bosnia. But you know, there are not so many hotels there, and they are quickly overbooked. You know, so that's why planning a bit ahead, it's crucial, in my opinion.
Okay. Very good. And then I think the ones I've been watching more recently are your trip to Romania.
Yeah,
I mean, those photos look absolutely awesome.
That is beautiful, absolutely stunning.
The left one, it's on the Transalpina, where I am on the photo, and the other 3 are from the other 2 are from Transfagarasan. I mean, the city that it's down there, it's Brașov. So I just thought that I should end my ride in Romania somewhere, and Brașov, it's somehow the heart of, let's say, Romania, but also Sibiu. It's very, very interesting to see and to be there, and that's why I just ended my trip there, and from Brașov I had to return home. So this was my last stop, I would say.
And you told a little bit about the history of the Transfagarasan, right?
Yeah.
Some a road that was built for the military. Is that right?
Yeah, and it was built in the 70s. You know, Ceausescu had, let's say, a very, let's say, good idea, but not really. I cannot, let's say, value how good it was right now, or it was a bad or a good one. But he thought that they should have a very good road for the military purposes, for the defense of their country, if Russia would attack, you know, the Soviet Union that time. So to position the tanks and the military around the hills would be crucial in the defense of the Romania. So they just had to build it, because otherwise they would be too exposed, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But it looks like it was designed by a motorcyclist.
Yeah, you know, about the Transalpina and Transfagarasan, these are different roads. You know, people are just saying you should go and ride both, and this is completely true. The both roads are interesting, but very different, because when you reach the top of the Transalpina, there is no forest, there is nothing, it is bald, you know. But the Transfagarasan, it's very different, because you're almost 80% of the time riding near the woods, you know, you're passing the woods, you have very different, let's say, nature on the left and on the right. And you're a bit climbing, and then you're going down. So it is, let's say, a very diversified I would say, terrain there. But the Transalpina is different. You just go up, 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 and then down. And on the top there is, let's say, a very good view to almost any part of Romania, but there is nothing. So no trees, no forests. It is bold, because it is more than 2,000 meters above the sea level and without any trees. So quite different roads, I would say.
Yeah, that's great.
And the tarmac, it's a lot better on the Transalpina.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it was completely refurbished in 2005, I think, something like that.
Okay, that's nice.
And
So
it is also very important to know the opening hours of both roads. So those two roads are not open during the night. You cannot go during the night because there are no lights, nothing, and some parts are really, let's say, dangerous, I would say, but you can manage it because it is not so crazy dangerous. But in the dark, it can be a problem. So that's why
a different place.
Yeah, it is open from 8 o'clock in the morning, and I think that till 8 o'clock in the evening. And they open both roads in the end, or let's say beginning of July, end of June, beginning of July.
before that is closed because it's snow and ice?
Yeah, exactly. Snow, ice, gravel, everything. It could be that those two roads are open already in the mid-June, but it isn't really common.
Okay, so NDGSA Tractor is asking how long would you need to do the trip?
I needed 10 days, 11 days, You can do these two roads in 3 days, but the problem is that you cannot do one road in, or let's say 2 roads in 1 day, because the distance, it's let's say, not so big, but the opening hour, the opening hours of these roads, it's an obstacle. So if you are going to ride in the morning, then you at noon you're going to be eating somewhere, then you're going down, and when you cannot proceed because the next the Transfagarasan will be already closed at the 8 o'clock p.m. So you need at least 2 days, one road, 1 day, I would say.
Good advice.
Cool.
And to go there, to reach Romania, and to go back also. So let's say if you're only interested in these two roads, you need at least 5 days.
Mm-hmm. And are they busy roads as well? Is it always busy there, or?
Beg your pardon?
Are they very busy? The roads, are they filled up with tourists, or?
Is there a lot of traffic on the roads, or is it like the roads empty?
I am just really not hearing very good right now.
I think the question is if there's a lot of traffic on the roads, a lot of other cars, tourists, or are they full of people, or are they empty?
I understand. Only during the weekends, if you're going in July and August, weekends are full. There are crowds of riders and drivers and even cyclists, going up and down. I mean, for the both roads, but during the week it is not so, because I picked, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday, when I was going to the Transalpina and Transfagarasan, or Tuesday and Thursday, and it was great. No problems, not a lot to overtake, so it was cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me ask you. Actually, I wanted to ask you. You mentioned cyclists on the road. What's the attitude? What's the view of cyclists in kind of that part of the world? Are they welcomed, tolerated? Because in the UK, I feel like there's a lot of antipathy by bikers and other road users towards cyclists. How is it? How are they perceived in Slovenia, in Bosnia, Romania?
Mhm. I have to say, firstly, that during the 90s and late 2000, there was not a very good amount of, let's say, cyclists on the roads. But these days, there are crowds of cyclists, and you can see one cyclist, then a couple, and then let's say a bunch, I would say, if it's the appropriate word, of cyclists going somewhere. And the problem is that Slovenian roads are not so large, are not so big, and sometimes we have also accidents, and some accidents are really fatal, I would say, because it was already in the news, that somebody died and so on. But the problem is that we don't have enough good infrastructure for so much, let's say, of cyclists on our roads. That's the main problem. Otherwise, where there is, let's say, the cycling trail, and there, where besides the sidewalk, you can also ride a bicycle, it is cool, in the cities and around the cities, and where you have a traffic light, and where everything is very well organized. It is a very nice thing to have, and nobody cares there, But if you are riding a motorcycle and there is a speed limit of 90 kilometers per hour, and then when you suddenly just turn and then you see 3 cyclists in line and you cannot go left, you cannot overtake them, there is a huge problem,
Okay.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, because you do quite a lot of trips. You've done this Bosnia, you've done Romania. So when you're setting off on a trip, tell us about what are you looking to achieve on your trip? Is it about adventure? Is it about exploration? Is it about relaxation, or just meeting people? What do you look for in your trip?
I understand. I just try to combine everything. So I would like to have, let's say, a whole experience with different, let's say, ingredients, I would say. So from cultural heritage, that it is very interesting to me, to history, to geography, and it is everything about the ride and about the journey, because you have to start somewhere to reach something somewhere, and everything together, it's a great experience, and this is what really attracts me, So when I am going on a trip, I'm doing everything, and I'm not skipping things, but I just do plan a bit in advance, and I just have some plans in advance, what to visit, where to go, how to go, but not strictly into details, just to be sure that this is something that I'm not gonna skip, and this is something that maybe next time, because you cannot see everything, and we have only limited time. So but from history, from geography, from cultural heritage, from just seeing cities, doing sightseeing, and so on. So everything,
If you could ride anywhere in the world, where would you want to ride for a trip?
Yeah, I am in love with Europe. So if I would be, let's say, in charge of, or let's capable of riding, I would also come to you, to the UK. But you are riding on the opposite lane, so this is a huge problem for me. I have a. It would be too confusing for me, because it is kind of a automatism, you know, when you ride, when you brake, when you see things, you're on the right. Somehow, how can I ride on the left? It is like I would be overtaking all the time, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
That is very hard for me. Otherwise, I wouldn't mind riding around Europe. I am ready to ride everywhere. So Europe is my crucial, let's say, and main point. But you know, also maybe one day reaching Turkey, or maybe one day reaching Morocco, so Northern Africa would be a great thing, you know. So this is something that I have in my plans, but we'll see, you know.
Do you know a guy called a Bulgarian guy called Plamen? I think he lives in Germany, and he has a channel called Motorcycle Adventures, and he
Yeah,
does
I
long
know.
trips. And he came to the UK once, and he what he did is he actually put an arrow on the screen to point to the left to remind him to get back to the left hand side, so he wouldn't end up going on the wrong side of the carriageway.
I am following his channel. He is a great guy, Pavlin from Varna.
Yes, thank you. Sorry, I murdered his name.
Yeah. And the channel's name is Motorcycle Adventures, and I think that he has now also the live section of his channel. So he has now, I think, 3 channels somehow. And he was recently in Siberia to Magadan. So very interesting channel in my opinion, and I am following him, and a cool guy in my opinion.
Very cool. He gives very good, sensible, down to earth advice.
Yeah.
You know, it's not, forget about, you need this much money or whatever. Just get out and go,
Yeah.
whatever bike you have, go and ride that bike.
Yeah.
Don't wait to have the expensive, big adventure bike or the
Every day
expensive.
can be an adventure, he said.
Exactly.
Totally.
Just whatever you have, go and have an adventure. Whatever it is within your means, go out there and enjoy. If you can't go for 3 months, go for 2 days. Go for a weekend.
Exactly.
Have an adventure. See the world. Meet people. Stop giving yourself excuses and get out and do something. I think
Absolutely.
that's great advice. There's great motivation from him. He's very sensible, very down to earth. I remember when he used to ride this really beat up Yamaha Tenere, the old one.
Yeah.
Now I think he has the new one. But
Yeah.
this bike had done more than 100,000 miles, and he had fixed things. He had made it work perfectly for him. And he said, you don't need the GS. You don't need this. And I remember when he was selecting his next bike, he was going through all of them and saying, this is too expensive. This is too heavy. This. I want something that, can do all these things, but it's also light, because you're going to fall over.
Yeah.
And then you
He
can't be
is
picking up.
changing. He is changing his tires on the road. He is doing the regular maintenance on the road. He is, let's say, pointing out such, let's say, factors like weight, like tiredness, and so on. So it is better to start earlier in the morning. It is better to go light, and these things are very, very important when you consider to go on a very, very long ride. Because you can have a lot of problems if you are not prepared. Some people think that you just go on a motorcycle and ride, but they really don't realize that you need a helmet, you need the protection gear. If you're filming, you need a camera, you need boots, you need fuel, you need your wallet, you need your mobile phone, you need everything. So you have to be prepared, you have to pack everything, to put your tank back on, and then you are good to go. Not earlier, not...
Yeah. A lot of it is up here, isn't it? If you're mentally tired or fatigued or dehydrated, then it can ruin your time. So as long as you get, get a good night's sleep, then, that's half the battle, really. That makes the trip.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm saying that like I've got experience, and I've got no experience in such trips, but yeah, just what I hear.
No, but you don't have to do it in practice to know the theory, right?
Yeah, exactly. exactly. Yeah.
This year I'm planning to go again in Bosnia, and this time I'm gonna do a little bit differently, because I would like to visit the other part of Bosnia. So I already introduced my, let's say, trail or path or whatever in Bosnia on my channel. And because, if you skipped something, you should return, in my opinion, because, you have a very strange feeling, I have to return, and then it's going to be that I had in
It's
mind.
unfinished business, isn't it? Unfinished business. Yeah.
Exactly. And then you can sleep well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can be satisfied with what you've achieved.
Exactly.
What about, in terms of your preparation planning when you go on one of these trips? What kind of preparation planning do you do? Do you book everything ahead? Do you just travel as far as you can go and then try to find some place to stay on the day? What's your approach?
I do book everything in advance, and I also check the rules, regarding the traffic, regarding the lights, regarding the highways, and so on. If I need anything, then I just buy everything in advance, because I don't want to be stopped by the police or by the officers there and giving me.
Nobody wants to be stopped by the
Yeah,
police.
that's why, and it is easier, and you are more relaxed if you have prepared something in advance, and then you just go. But then it really doesn't matter if I come to my let's say point 1 hour earlier or 2 hours later, because I do plan that way, that I have still a lot of time to stop somewhere and see something, even if I didn't plan it in advance. This is how I do. So
Okay, because I that's what I did when I did my France trip. But obviously, that was, I think, my first sort of multi-day tour that I planned, and so I think I made a few mistakes. Right, some of the routes that I had were too long, and I had pre-booked things in advance, so I had already paid for them, and therefore that put pressure on me to actually complete that on the day. So even though, if you remember, I was feeling a bit ill, I said,
You were very ill.
yeah.
You were. I felt for you. It was chucking down with rain, and you were stuffed up with flu, and you still done it. Hat goes off to you, Noob.
Because I had already paid the money. If I've already paid the money, I ain't wasting that money. I'm gonna.
I would have done the same, mate. But it looked like hell and torture. But
you had also temperature there.
Yeah, but paracetamol took care of that. I also know that you in your last trip, you had some food poisoning.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh.
Because it was really something that I didn't expect it, because in this regard you cannot plan a lot. I've eaten something and it was on a gas station, a kind of a sandwich, and then I said, okay, if I am not going to be able, because I'm going to be too tired to buy something else, I'm going to buy another one and to have it as a reserve. And then I was in my room and I said, okay, I have still that sandwich. Let's try it. But that sandwich was for 5 to 6 hours exposed to the sun in my tongue bag, that it's black, and it was cooked, and I was just eating and watching TV in my hotel room. And then after 5 hours, when I was already sleeping, I had let's say, a very bad feeling, and after a diarrhea, and I was really, to pieces. It
horrible.
is the right word, I would say. And but early in the morning, I think it was at 7 o'clock or 8 maybe, I just asked there if there is a possibility that I can stay one night more, and they said, yeah, no problem, feel free. But I had a nice cup of coffee, black one first, and then also some tea, and everything went very well. And that day, the same day at around 10 o'clock, this is also what I mentioned in the video, I started my trip to reach the top of the Transalpina that day.
Okay, so at least it wasn't too severe, but yeah, it's obviously the sandwich is there, refrigerated. You put it in somewhere warm, so it's not hot enough to kill the bacteria. It's just lovely and cozy for them to all multiply, and then you have that later on. Yeah,
probably it is so, just like you explained.
yeah. Any similar experiences there, Extra Rider?
No. Luckily, well, we've all had
Yeah.
it anyway, one way or another. But yeah, to be away on a trip on a motorbike and you're feeling like that is pretty bad. But it's nice that they let you stay an extra night. Yeah, because some people would have said, "No, you've made a mess of the bedroom. Off you go." So
they offered me an extra night in case I would need it, you know. But I just felt a lot better after 2 hours, you know, drinking that black coffee and tea, and I was ready to go. Otherwise, I would have to stay one night more, and I would have to postpone everything and to, let's say, do it a bit differently.
Reschedule, reschedule, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
okay.
That's good.
So when you're going on such a like a week, mostly about a week long that you go away, or how long is the period?
I plan to go for 10 days, maybe 11, 12 days. I was never more than 12 days. So from 3 days to 12 days, it depends, you know, from the destination, from my free time, from everything, you know, because some sites, some countries you can visit in, let's say, 4 days time, because we live in the Central Europe, you know, and Austria, Hungary. Okay, Hungary is not very interesting because it's almost flat, but the Czech Republic and Italy, it's very close. So if I would like to go to Italy, I have 200 kilometers to reach the, let's say, North Italy's top locations, you know, passes and so on. So,
have you been to Italy? Have you on a trip? Have you been to Italy on a motorbike?
On a motorcycle trip, never. On a motorcycle trip, I was only very, let's say, close to the sea, here to the Adriatic Sea, very close to Venice. So this is there is a very big event for the Italian motorcycle community, and they're organizing it every year, just like in Banja Luka. So a motorcycle, let's say a bikers meeting, and I was there with my motorcycle, and I was many times in Trieste, because if you are planning to pass Italy and to come to Slovenia, and you need some riding gear or anything related to your motorcycle, you can stop in Trieste. Trieste, it's a very well-known, let's say, city. You have a lot of stores, shops, and everything that you can buy there for your motorcycle gear or stuff. And I was there many times, but never on a trip in Italy, and only once near Venice, Sabbiadoro. It's the location. So the town, and only there. So I was with my car, but not so often. I'm not going so often there.
But what I wanted to ask is, so when you're going for 10 to 12 days, so what do you pack with you for doing the videos, for example? Or what kind of equipment do you take?
Yeah, I usually have with me 2 cameras. So one is the DJI, the other one is the GoPro. and I have two more or less positions of them. One is on my chin mount for the DJI, and the other one is on my handlebar for the GoPro. And that one on the handlebar, it's let's say switchable, so I can let's say move it from side to side to film also the, let's say, nature on the left or right, it depends. And I can also film myself when I'm riding, so the helmet, and when I'm talking. So this is somehow that I find it very useful and convenient for me. What I pack usual things, so clothes, something to drink, maybe.
Do you pack enough? Do you pack enough clothes for the whole trip, or do you plan to wash clothes halfway through?
Yeah, if I'm going during the summertime, it is. I find that it is not really needed to have everything for every day. You know, to have fresh clothes. You know, I just can wash and then just wait to be dry. But you know, if I'm going for, let's say, 10 days, I would take, let's say, 6 pairs of, let's say, my underwear. So,
Well, you
10
can always
days.
turn them inside out. You can use them again.
Yes, exactly. I'm rolling things, you know, and inserting in the, let's say, the way that it's more convenient, the most convenient way, I would say. Because I believe that the most important thing is to go light. You know, if you have too much with you, then you can really feel the pain of moving the bike, and then you can also lose something. You know, it is very, very, let's say, frustrating if you have to think all the time ahead what it's gonna be there. Have I this with me, or
Where's my GoPro? Where's my
Yeah,
DJI? Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm like that on walk rounds with bikes. Yeah.
So how comes you have both? How comes you have a GoPro and a DJI? Isn't it complicated to have to mix them? Because you then have to carry the two sets of batteries and all that. Wouldn't it be easier to kind of standardize on one?
I have only one battery in my GoPro.
Oh,
Okay, only one battery, because I am using my GoPro as my second camera, so secondary camera, and I am filming, let's say, not a lot. And when I see that the battery is gonna go down, I just plug it in where I have my, let's say, 12-volt socket on the Tracer 9, and it is okay with me. But with the DJI, I have 4 batteries. So there I should change the batteries.
Is that the DJI 3 or the 4 that you have?
I have the first DJI.
Really?
Yeah, the first model, and it works very, very well for me.
Yeah. I had the
4K.
first and the second, but I couldn't get the audio to work. It just didn't. It's a nightmare for the audio.
I am thinking not for this year, maybe next year, that I'm gonna upgrade to the latest DJI. But you know, the GoPro that I have right now, this is the 9 model, and the DJI Osmo Action, this is the basic, the first model that came out. They are both doing very good in 4K. I mean, the GoPro 9 has also the capability of doing it in 5K, but I am anyway using both in 4K, so 30 seconds per frame, and I cannot fault them.
Yeah,
So
I must admit, I've got the Hero 9, and it's been really, really good. I've had a couple problems, a couple frozen screens, but apart from that, it has been really, really good over the years. 3 years I've had it now.
there was a very strange thing with me and my that time new GoPro 9, because it was really getting warm and overheating but suddenly after a month or something like this, it disappeared. So
yeah, that was the update. It was the update. Yeah, I had
yeah.
the same. Yeah, mine never actually overheated, but it got hot, and I downloaded the update, and it was fine.
Yeah, but
So,
I didn't download anything.
did you not? All right.
No,
Okay.
once it's working, do not
No,
download any update, any firmware. If it's working, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
don't fix it. Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna touch anything.
So do you edit the videos as you're on the trip, or do you just record everything and then get back and do the work?
I am editing everything when I am back home because I
Okay.
am using, my computer. I am not editing anything on the phone, so I really use my phone only as a navigation and to talk, to have a conversation. So to answer, I don't know, some messages and so on, also via social media. But I am not the guy that would use a lot technology and a lot of possibilities of the phones nowadays. So
Yeah, I know a few people who do
yeah.
edit as they go on the phone. I couldn't do my eyes don't work and my thumbs are too fat. So I can't do that. Right. I really wanted to. I'm just looking at the clock. I'm humbled by so many people who have joined to watch the live stream. A lot of them are, I think, come from your channel, Gregor. So thanks. I'd like to thank everybody who subscribes to Gregor, who's come over to the NooBiker channel to check out this live stream. I hope you stick around to watch some more videos. And if you were subscribed to me and you didn't know about Refuel Ride Race, please go and check out his channel. And in fact, as I put it on the banner here, there's a lot of other motovloggers on the side chat who are watching, which is great. So go and subscribe to each other, especially the paramedic relic, because he's feeling very invisible. So go on, show him some love, everybody. Go and subscribe to him. He makes some really quality stuff and some funny stuff. And in fact, I think we're gonna have you in a future live stream, aren't we? Paramedic relic.
Oh, I'm busy that day, Noob.
You washing your hair?
He knows I'm joking.
Yeah, of course. So I wanted to know if there are any other questions. If you put them in the chat, guys, any other questions that you'd like addressed in this live stream, then ask away now. I think it's been a really, really interesting chat. I've really enjoyed talking to you, Gregor, and I've learned so much. I think about the former Yugoslavia, about Eastern Europe and Central Europe, and those countries. Peaky Biker is going to have a live stream on Wednesday, 8 to 9. I think it's a weekly feature. It's always worth dropping by. I think there's always some interesting topics there. I know Rev Bomb also runs a weekly live stream on the Friday night. So if you're up for the sort of content that he has there, then do tune in. Okay, there's a question coming here from Pinnacle. The best mic for blogging. You don't record sound when you're blogging. You mean for vlogging? Okay. I use a Purple Panda microphone with all of mine. I find that actually it's good, but I'm having a massive issue right now. Anything speeds that are over, say, 40 miles an hour, it's just too much wind noise. I don't know if it's because I have a chin guard. I have the microphone tucked in behind the cheek pad, quite high. I've got my visor fully shut. I'm not sure it's because of the aerodynamics of having the beard disturbing the air, if it's the screen on the bike. So I get too much wind noise. I know a lot of people are able to vlog at speed and not have the wind noise. I cannot do that. But what do you use, Steve?
I've got a drift microphone which I've had for about 3 years now, and funnily enough, I had this conversation with you today on the group chat now, but I'm actually moving over to a Purple Panda now, purely because mine's got a bit of damage on the cable. So I don't want to do a vlog one day and then find out that it's not recorded. So yeah, I'm going over to the Purple Panda. If I didn't go over to that, then I would probably go to the DJI plug-in 3.5 jack.
Yeah, so all in with the R6 is saying road lavalier with the DJI camera. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I do have a dead cat on mine as well, but I don't think it's the wind hitting the microphone. It's just the wind kind of hitting the helmet, or maybe it's
it must be
screen
a helmet. It must be a helmet, surely, isn't it?
It's a Shoei GTR2. It's supposed to be one of the quietest helmets out there. And yeah, there you go. I mean,
Is it carbon?
I had an issue. I've discovered recently I wasn't closing it properly all the way. It wasn't clicking. It's actually quite hard to click it fully closed. So I was shutting it, but I wasn't doing the last click. So that was letting some air in.
There can be a lot of let's say factors regarding the quality of the sound in the helmet when you have already inserted your mic. I just found out that you have the air circulation, of your helmet in front of the mic, and you should be very careful, because if you just put the mic where you have those vents, you open the vents and the fresh air is directly hitting your mic.
Yeah.
So this can be really a problem. And also another thing is that with my new helmet that I have right now, so the HGC, that white one, you probably saw it, I had to reinstall everything inside, and it is very easy to do it, but suddenly I wasn't so, let's say, careful, and I put too much American tape on the mic, and the sound was too muted, like I was speaking, with a lot of bass,
Yeah. It took me 3 days to set up my mic. Literally 4 days, going up and down, out for a ride, back home again, out for a ride. My neighbours must have been wondering what the hell was going on, because it looked like I was madness.
All right, guys. Any more questions? Because otherwise,
no, I got one thing to say. I got one thing to say, Noob. I'm really impressed with your English skills, Gregor. Your English is fantastic. Where did you learn that to? Was that just through life?
Can you please repeat? Because
I'm sorry, it's probably my English. I'm impressed with your English.
It is interfering the sound, Pop, pop, pop.
Yeah. Your English is really, really well spoken.
Yes.
So he wanted to know where did you learn your English?
Really, there is nothing behind the scenes of my English, I would say. But during the years, from the elementary school to the secondary school to then gymnasium, and after studying, after the university study, this is something that it's pretty common to me. So I speak also other languages, and English, it's not so tough, I would say, for me. But speaking German, it can be really painful, because you have many different rules and so on. But English, I don't know, because also in Slovenia there is a situation, I would say, that almost every second or third person is very, let's say, good in English, or fluently speaking it. So this is something that I don't know, because also older population is those that has some problems with English, but we that are in the, let's say, 40s are, let's say, okay.
I'm older. I'm not in my 40s anymore. Anyway, yeah, it's. I think English as a second language, English is actually pretty easy to learn. If you compare it to French, German, and others, the rules are very, very simple. How many languages do you speak, Gregor, obviously, is it Slovenian?
Yeah, Slovenian is my mother language. Then I speak also Croatian. Okay, then I speak also Serbian, but this was once only one language, you know, Serbo-Croatian. But now there are different, you know, different variants of the same language, you know. So Serbo-Croatian, let's say, Italian, English, and also a bit of German. Ich verstehe, aber ein bisschen.
Is that Romanian?
I understand, but just a little.
Oh, okay, well done. So 7 now. How many languages do you speak, Steve?
8.
That's impressive.
Yeah. Well,
What's that?
there you go.
Cornish, Devonish?
Yeah. Exeterish.
Excellent. Any more questions, guys? I just wanted to thank everybody. Pinnacle Moto, Paramedic Relic, Kimi2Go, NDGSA Tractor, all in with the R6. Yeah.
Just a moment. Alin with the R6. I just see that he asked if I speak Romanian.
Yes.
But no, really. I don't speak Romanian, but I just know some words, you know. You are, tu ești. And, you know, it is a very hard and it is a tough language to learn because, you know, some words are very close or let's say similar to Italian words, you know, but in fact, the meaning is the opposite or not even close, you know. So you are thinking of one thing, but in fact, it is the opposite or another thing. So very, very difficult, let's say, to compare these two languages, so Romanian and Italian.
Yeah.
How about you, Noob?
No, sometimes I see Romanian and I think it sounds very similar to French or Portuguese because it's got a very similar.
It's a Romanian language, so I mean the root, the core, it's the same, but quite different when you start, you know, comparing word to word.
Yeah, and I heard.
How many do you know, Noob?
Hang on, I heard that Hungarian is actually one of the toughest languages to learn. I speak Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese, so not the Portugal Portuguese, and I speak the English, and I also, because I work for a company based in Texas, so I speak a little bit of Texan as well.
All right.
Well, yeah, and I can say please and thank you and where is and do you speak English in French and German? Okay. I find that, you know, if you try a little bit and then you say, do you speak English? They are a lot more willing to help you if you've made a little bit of effort.
That's a lot more than me.
Right. Well, I think it's been a fantastic, very enlightening, very informative session with Gregor, and thank you for your very insightful questions as well, Exeter Rider. I've really enjoyed it. I'm going to try to run one of these live streams about every month or so. I can't do one every week because it's just too much planning and stuff. And I'm looking forward to you running some live streams again, Exeter Rider, because I really enjoy.
Yeah, I need to start that again. Yeah.
But I'd like to thank Gregor for giving us the time today, nearly 2 hours, and everybody who's joined in on the live chat. Fantastic! If you haven't already done so, it would really help if you actually go and give the video a like as well, and maybe leave a comment on the actual video, not just on the live chat. That really helps the video. But with that, once again, thank you everybody, but we'll end the live stream there. If you guys can hold on for a second, we'll just have a brief chat afterwards. But other than that, thank you very much. Noob out.
Thank you. Thanks to all of you. It was my pleasure.